Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Saik and you're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts, and today I am going to do my very first whip parade for you. It is the last day of the year, so I thought we are going to have a look at what I have currently going, what I'm taking over into the new year with me. And I'm going to cover all three of my current crafts, and at the end of the whip parade I'm also going to do crafty goals, crafty resolutions for 2021. So grab a snack, grab a drink, say hello to my little assistant. Are you going to come up here? Come on. My little furry assistant Lola the ragdoll cat, just for you. Yeah. Grab a snack, grab a drink. This will probably be a long one. There will be a few jump cuts in this one. Usually, you know, I don't do that, but I will have to clean up between crafts and stuff like that. So to make it easier for me in editing, I'm just going to start and stop the recording. So don't be surprised about the jump cuts, please. So we're going to start out with diamond paintings, and I have currently actually 3 whips as far as diamond paintings go. I'm only going to show you 2 because the third one is a custom painting, and I have mentioned this on multiple occasions before. I do not show anything that shows depictions of my family and loved ones on the internet. I don't do so on social media, and I also don't do in my crafty videos, so this painting is off limits. But the other 2 I'm going to show you. You already know her. She is Anna from Frozen. The painting is called One Worth Melting For, and it is by Diamond Art Club. And this is one of their big princess paintings. It's 42 by 125. She's tilting the computer again, the murder kitty. It has 45 colors, and one of those colors is AB. It's the white you can see up here, which appears pink on screen. That's the white AB. I started her at the beginning of December for Winter with DAC, the challenge that Rachel Ray and Wolfpack Diamond Painting are running, and I nearly finished her. I have her done up to the last 10 inches here, so not much to do left. But I'm taking her over into the new year with, because I'm recording this very late on the 30th, and I will by no means be able to do all of this tomorrow. So she will come with me into 2021, but she should be my first finish of 2021. I'm pretty sure of that. So she is a stunner. She's currently still available, but just for your information, she is marked now as final edition on the DAC webpage, which means she has been discontinued. So I don't know how many times they are going to bring her back before she is finally gone, but she might be sold out and then gone. So if you want her, grab her now. Just saying. Don't want to make you panic or anything. I'm not an affiliate for Diamond Art Club, so if you go buy her through the link I have in the description box, yeah, that's your win and I get nothing. So this is not advertisement, just letting you know, because I recently learned that when a painting says final edition, it means it will be gone soonish. So that is her. And my second whip that I can show you is that little bird from the Diamond Painting Factory co.uk. It was my test painting I ordered from them. You remember in October I did the round one, and then out of boredom, because I was finished very early, I think in November with my painting, well, I wasn't finished very early. Was it in October maybe even? I can't even remember any longer. I started this because I was kind of bored, and I finished a quarter of it, I think it is. Yeah. And I don't know when I'm going to work on this again. I've mentioned in my unboxing that these drills are not horrible, but they are also not very good quality. And I stand by that because they don't pop, so that means they are not horrible, but they are this cheap acrylic quality that you get from most diamond painting shops, and they are not perfectly square and not my cup of tea. So this might be slow going, but on the other hand, I would like to get rid of it. So maybe not. Yeah, and like I said, my third one is a custom, so I'm not going to show you this. So 5 minutes in, diamond painting's done. So let's have a look at the cross stitching next, and let's start with my oldest whip, which this year in January, I have left 2020 already behind me. So in January of 2020, I showed this for the very first time. I started this at the beginning of the year, and I actually had it pretty much done within a couple of weeks. So the stitching as such didn't take me very long, but I don't know why I have been totally stalling on the, yeah, you're so cute. I've been stalling on the back stitching and I can't get myself to work on it, so I don't know what's up with that. I really just need to put in a few hours of work here. It's not like it's going to take a million years. It's literally like maybe 3 or 4 hours of work. I just can't bring myself to do it. So I have to be a little harder on myself here, because this really should be one of my very next cross-stitching finishes. The pattern is, I think the shop is called AS Design. It's a Russian shop. It will be linked in the description box, I think. I hope I can do this all. I try to remember it. But it is a Russian shop, and they have so many cute patterns. I pretty much followed the pattern. I just made one change, and that is I did not do the French knots they were asking for. I just did not like the look of that, so I forwent this particular part of the thing. But other than that, this is pretty true to pattern. And I like how it looks. It looks fantastic with and without the backstitch. With the backstitch, it will all come to life, but even without it, I think you can already see pretty well what's going on there. It is called World in a Jar, should have mentioned that. And I stitched this on 14 count Aida from Fabric Flair. And this is this piece is actually one that is okay to stitch on, but I am not a huge fan of Fabric Flair. I bought a piece of glittery fabric, glittery Aida, and this is feeling very weird, rubbery, sticky. So I'm not the biggest fan of Fabric Flair, to be honest. This is pretty standard Aida. It is called, as you can see here, Nostalgia. So it's basically a very light beige with a little bit of modeling. So the look is pretty good. Pretty good. Reminds me a lot of Picture This plus Sand. Just that sand is prettier. So this is my first whip, and it has a needle and everything. Of course it does. So I have to see that I get this finished in 2021. The next one is going to be a restart. This is a pattern by Renato Parolin. It's these two squirrels with the bird, and I started this on this piece of 32 count Lugana. Oh no, 32 count is Murano, and I just hate stitching on even weave. I hate how tight this fabric is. So I'm going to try and do something on even weave this year that is not cross stitch, and I hope that this is going to work out. But we are going to talk about this in my crafty plans. Oh kitty. This is how far I came before I decided I hated it to death, and I've never touched it again ever since. So when I thought about doing this whip parade, I remembered this piece, and I remembered that I wanted to restart it on linen. Which should make it possible for me to finish this. This piece of even weave is by Zweigart, and it is from their Petit Point series, which I very much regret that they don't do it on 28 count, because I'm not the biggest fan of 32 count. But with original Zweigart fabric, even if they print on it, it is usually not does not shrink, so I might repurchase this in 32 and still do it on 32. Usually my sweet spots are 28 and 36, but that's because I 99% of the time stitch on hand-dyed fabric, which due to the hand dyeing process, which requires hot water, is usually a bit smaller than what it says on the information. So, Kitty, I know, I love you. I love you too. But we have to move forward. We have more stuff to show. So, my third whip is my latest start, and you are only going to see this once in process, and that is now. Because what you see now on this piece is what it is. It is a secret. So this is going to be a gift for someone who I know follows me on my socials. So I know she at least sometimes watches my channel. Therefore, you're not going to see it until this is fully done. She has received it. And then I shall show it again to you. But just to let you know, this piece of fabric is by XJU Design. It is a 36 count. And she calls that color Wild Squirrel, which is the closest I could get to the actual called for. So this is the type of brown, at least according to the website where they gave the closest DMC color to the fabric. This is the color the pattern calls for, which is very bold. It's really, really bold. So I'm looking forward to see how this one turns out. This little needle minder was a gift from the lovely Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts. She sent it to me with my August back order, and I am loving it very much because it is a quirky little kitty. If you want to make me happy, give me a kitty. So, next one up is my Mirabilia. This is my Cathedral Woods Goddess, or my start on it. She was my high tea new start for, don't let me say it wrong, October. Yeah. So I started her on the 1st of October. That is all the stitching I did on the 1st of October. And I did not have the chance to go back to her yet, but I will at some point. Yeah, and she is going to be a beauty. This fabric is by Crafty Kitten. It is a 28 count opalescent cashel linen, and I think the color is called Winter Sky, Winter Sunset. It's on the screen now because I never can remember names. And it was such an odyssey to find this fabric, so it took me, I think, 9 months to find this fabric. I have no idea how long it will take me to stitch her because I am quite frankly not dedicating enough time to her. I think if I made her the single focus, she would be done in a few weeks, but I have too many stitch-alongs going on. I had too many going on in 2020 and I will have a few in 2021, so I have to make room for her, I'm afraid, which is such a shame. The next one is shameful. This is all I've got on my Blue Flower Night Walk Down. This should be so much further along. I originally had planned to make this a focus piece in August, and then for whatever reason I never managed to really do it. So it's basically everything I managed to do in May while Stitch Mania, because maybe you were with me back then. I did Stitch Mania differently. I did one start per week if I reached my weekly goal, and yeah, that was one of my new starts. So I think I stitched a weekend on it. I'm not entirely sure. This is also my first time stitching on 40 count. This is once again a piece of fabric by XJU Design. I can't remember, is this old linen or is this brown paper? I can't remember any longer, but it's one of her gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. I asked her to dye this for me, so she takes custom orders if you want to. And yeah, I need to make room for this, and I actually have to sit down and put my big girl pants on and stitch on that 40 count. It is very small. Once I've gotten used to it, it's fine, but it takes me a while to get used to it. But I really want to get this finished because the blue flower, Janine, is just genius, and this needs to happen. No, kitty. You've already tilted it. Don't topple it. The needle minder was a pin I purchased on AliExpress and turned into a needle minder myself, and I just realized there are 2 needles on this. And I wonder where my needles go. I haven't touched this since August. So the next one is well known. It is my Dark Queen, Her Majesty. The Dark Queen of the Seas by Autumn Lane Stitchery. She is a year-long stitch-along. They have started in September. So this is all the way completed to part 4. Part 5 should drop tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to what it is. I have to say, if Aaron keeps changing and adding colors, I might have to pay him a visit. He added one more color to this, and I don't have this color, so I had to special order it. Because newsflash, if you are not in the US, you can't just walk into your nearest Michael's and purchase a skein of DMC. Especially not if you are living in a country that's currently on a hard lockdown. So, not amused. But anyway, she looks fantastic. I am so in love with this piece, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what will come next. It's either going to be the stuff that's happening over her head, or maybe we are going a little bit back down and stitch the foliage here. That would be interesting as well. The needle minder, you have not seen him yet because he is a recent addition to my collection. It is one of the wonderful needle minders by Little Minders by Agnes. I was so happy that finally, after many months of always being too late, I finally managed to score another one of hers. Let me tell you, last year when I discovered her shop on Etsy, it was not hard to get one of her needle minders. You could even come back a couple of days later and still find something in her shop. Now she is on Clay by Kim levels. You have to be there the moment she puts her stuff live in her Etsy shop, and you have to hit buy now if you want what you want to have, if you want to purchase what you would like to have, because it's just cuckoo bananas crazy. So in the last probably 6 months or so, I was always too late, but on the other hand, to be honest, I never wanted anything that bad. But when I saw him, she sends out, if you subscribe to her newsletter, she sends out a newsletter a day before she makes the shop update and shows everything, and I think she shows it on her Facebook group as well. And when I saw him, I knew I wanted him because he has the perfect coloring for this fabric. There wasn't a purple one, that would have been even more perfect, but if purple not exists, I'm all fine with aqua blue, no problem. And yeah, I'm so happy to finally have a needle minder that fits this piece so well. So welcome, little octopus. And yeah, the new pattern should drop tomorrow. I'm super excited about it. Even if I'm still missing one color, and it will probably arrive here long after I have finished this new part, because I tend to be crazy obsessive with stitching on her. This is so magnificent. Next up is one of my more recent new starts. It is the Animal Crossing 2021 year-long stitch-along by Cunning Cross Stitch, Stuart Cunning. He has released this frame on the 15th of November, and the actual stitch-along part, which will fill in one of these little spots each month of the year, will start on the 15th of January. The first one will be here, and I'm kind of excited to see what it will be. He qualified this pattern to be a difficult level, and I have to agree if you are not very familiar with fractional stitches, because it has a lot of them, especially up there in the letters, and he said that there will be more fractional stitching because there are very little details, very small details in the monthly blocks, so I expect to see a lot more of that hell on needle in the coming month. But the blocks are so small, I don't really expect it to be too difficult to keep up with this, and I'm super excited about it because yes, I do play Animal Crossing. I was a bit late to the game because I did not start when it came out in March, but I purchased it in May, I think, and I've been playing since May. I have been playing Animal Crossing since Wild World. I did not play the one for the Wii U. I own it, but I never played it. And I also played New Leaf for at least 18 months, and then I fell off the bandwagon. But I loved New Leaf. It was fantastic, and New Horizons is super cute as well. I love that you can do so much now with decorating your island and actually yeah, basically reshaping your island in nearly all the ways possible, with a few exceptions. But yeah, this is a game I enjoy very much because it does not need a whole lot of brain power from me, which I usually don't have after work and crafting. So I'm kind of excited to see what he will do with this and where this is going. I made a couple of changes. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Quaker cloth hand dyed by Rolanda. This is a one-of-a-kind color, so this will not come back, but it is a very light blue with a little bit of it's not gray, but it's also not beige. There is a little bit of neutral modeling going on, and I thought this was very fitting for this pattern. Quaker cloth is a fabric that looks like linen, but it's actually, I think, made of cotton and polyester. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like linen and it feels like linen if you stitch on it. So I don't like the tight weave of even weave. It really puts me off if I have to really drag my needle and my thread through these super tight holes, and if it's a full coverage I have to drag it through 4 times, and it's like nails on blackboard for me to do that. So I very much prefer that this feels like linen when you pull your needle through. It goes like butter, and that's what I love about linen so much. The downside, if you are an even weave stitcher, is that you have the complete look of linen, so you have the slubs and all, as you can probably see very well. Me personally, I don't mind them. I usually don't pull them out either. I just stitch over them. I find that the little size differences and imperfections make it just super unique, and I like it. I know on some other things like diamond painting I'm super picky and particular. Strangely enough, not with stitching. So that is how my weird brain works. Needle minder, once again, I purchased this as a pin. This is Raymond the cat, who recently moved into my island. It was the best day ever when I opened my game and Isabel told me I had a camper, and I walked into that tent and the camper was Raymond the freaking cat. So yeah, he has moved in on December 9th, I think it was, and I'm so ecstatic about it. So I purchased this pin and turned it into a needle minder for this piece because it's perfect. This stitch along also is free, so if you want to join in, the link is going to be down below. It doesn't cost you a thing. Alright, the next one is one of the older ones, and I've actually pinned the pattern down. I haven't touched this since May. And this is Forevermore by Long Dog Samplers. I have finished a little over a quarter of this. So I have finished one page and then a few stitches. As you can see, I completed the motifs instead of just finishing where the page turn was. Yeah, and I've not picked it up since, and I really should, because it is gorgeous and I love stitching with the silk. This is Silk by Silks for You. And the color, I think, is, I don't know if it had a name. They usually use numbers, but it goes from ecru to beige. And I think it's perfect. The fabric is super extra. It is a 28 count linen, again by hand dyed with Rolanda. So again, it's more or less a one of a kind. She does not do any custom dyeing yet, I think. But it is a super gorgeous blue, cornflower blue. I thought the blue fabric would be perfect because of the something old, something new, something bored, something blue thing. Because this is quite obviously a wedding sampler. Which I am stitching passive aggressively in the hopes that the boyfriend finally pops the question. I don't know why I'm still hoping after over 20 years, but I am. So yeah, this is, as you can see, I'm trying not to show you the actual pattern, but this is the silk I'm using and it is pretty. And I have to pick this up again because I have not touched this in 7 months. Can you believe that? I will do so very soon. It is a lovely stitch and I enjoy it a lot. For a long dog sampler, it's also very small. And we have already reached my last work in progress, which is my yoga corn sampler. You might recall we also started this in May. Mislaid Pages, Jessie and Rachel from Rachel Roy Crafts. The three of us, we are stitching the yoga corns together. This is a pattern by Little Room in the Attic on Etsy. She is, I think, also either a Russian or Ukrainian designer, which means the little yoga corns look fantastic, but they are also batshit crazy as far as the backstitching goes. There's also a lot of cryonic going on. You can see that in, I have to turn it so I can actually show it, but you can see it in that little, hey, no biting the cable, in this little unicorn, because you can see that there are like 4 different colors, maybe even 5 of cryonic and even cryonic backstitch. This is so bananas, this piece. I'm stitching all 9 of them. The other 2 are only stitching 3, but I've decided to stitch all 9 of them because there are 3 patterns with 3 yoga corns each. This is why I have a fat quarter of Haunted by Picture This Plus 28 count here, and they should fit perfectly on there. So this is the middle pattern, and I will have 3 on top and 3 beneath this at some point. What else? I think that's all I can say about this one. I have not picked this up in a while either, but it is actually not as bad as I first thought. They stitch up pretty fast, and then of course you have to do the back stitch, which is a bit of a pain in the butt, especially if you have to do back stitching with cryonic and with the black floss and yada yada, but it's so worth it to see these yoga corns just pop off the fabric. They are pasta blobs until you add the back stitch, and then suddenly perfection. So they are fun. They are a bit of a pain in the butt, but they are also fun. Yeah, that's all my my stitchy whips I have. So not too many. How many was that? 8. Could be much worse. It could be so much worse. Was it 8? No, it was actually 9. Oh, there was one hidden there. So yeah, I'm going to clean this up real quick, and then we are going to look at knitting. So this is probably going to be the little monster's favorite category. It's the knitting. I only have 3 whips right now as far as knitting goes. And the first one I'm going to show you is the Sharon shawl. Well, showing is very big words because this is all rolled up and I'm not going to open it up, but you've seen it on my crafty chats, and this is at the same point where it was the last time I showed you. I have not picked it up again and not knit on it. But this is the Sharon shawl, the secret knit along that I did start in, when was that? Was that August? I'm not entirely sure. It's been a hot minute, and I am currently in part 3 of 6. So at least I am nearing the halfway point, I guess. This is actually super fun to knit. I just still don't pick up my knitting very often. Can't tell you why, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. If I do at some point, I will let you know what the problem was. But as of right now, I only very occasionally pick up this project and knit on it, which is kind of sad because all the different stitches in this are so much fun. And it is super exciting to see what happens if you combine certain stitches, like for example this wavy pattern that's coming out here. That's entirely the stitches that turn the straight lines into this wavy pattern, which is super fascinating. So I have to get better in this, but I'm still, and I'm adding new stuff next year. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. One would think I'm a full-time crafter, which I'm absolutely not. But yeah, this is my first whip. This is already a pretty long piece of knitting, but it's going to be twice as long plus a little something on top of it by the time this is going to be finished. So yeah, it shall be with us for quite some time. And then we have a gorgeous, gorgeous project bag by Caroline of the Great Needle Arts. Where is... And there's cat hair on it, of course. Her business is called Evertoad. And in this little bag we have my still rather small start on the on this scrappy blanket, and of course I have forgotten what it's called. The pattern is by Skinanigans, but I have completely forgotten what it's called. It is actually supposed to be this scrappy piece where you add in a lot of small pieces you have left over and make this huge colorful blanket scarf, whatever you're going to do. But I had this incredibly dumb idea to try and make a really big blanket, also using very small needles. I think this is like 2mm needles. Which is why I made this whole thing a bit wider. I'm using more stitches because I'm doing a very dense fabric. And this knits up pretty quick, but I haven't picked it up in months. So I really need to get back to it. But this was supposed to be my I'm sitting on the couch watching TV kind of project. And the one thing I haven't done in the last few months was sitting on my couch watching TV. So I guess it was doomed from the beginning. No, but I'm really loving this project. It is very mindless knitting, and I think it turns out pretty gorgeous, even though I'm not the biggest fan of garter stitch. This is actually fun to do, and maybe in 20 years it will actually be a full-size blanket. I don't know, the concept of these smallish lap blankets, I don't understand it. We don't have things like that in Germany. Our blankets are big because we want to be covered in them and be warm. So this is probably why I had this weird idea. Also, I'm planning to join not as I go, because this pattern is actually supposed to be joined as you go. I plan to join it after the effect because it's going to be huge, like 6 to 7 feet long stripes. And I'm sorry for the shaking camera, that was she. Yeah, so this is my project number 3. And let's put that back into the bags before the cat can kill it. And then we have project number 2. And then we have project number 3. This is in a beautiful project bag by a Castle View design. This is my Beauty and the Beast bag. It is so pretty. Hey. And this one you haven't seen in a hot minute. This is my hot lace shawl, which that one has attacked so many times already. So I'm nearly done with the first skein of yarn. And I have not touched this in months. I haven't touched this longer than I haven't touched the blanket, so I'm really bad with my knitting projects. But this is this beautiful hot lace. Yeah, I love you too. And this is this gorgeous alpaca lofty yarn by Knit Crate. The Knit Crates have been very disappointing to me in the last, I think, 4 months, even 5 months. That's why you haven't seen any of those on my channel. I have paused them, and so far I haven't had any reason to restart them. But this was the very first I got, and it's very not well. I purchased it from the Knit Crate store. I did not get the December 2019 box. I purchased it once it hit the store, so my first box was actually January 2020. But I knew I wanted this yarn, and I have purchased as much as I could get my hand on. And then Rachel has given me one skein because I did the math, and I've found out that this would not turn out to be long enough without that one extra skein. So thank you once again, Rachel. You were a lifesaver. And I've made so many mistakes in this thing already, and I can actually see them. But yeah, it's all right. You have to learn somewhere, right? No, kitty. Please don't kill the alpaca. Yeah, and that's already it. Like with diamond painting, there is not much knitting I can show you. I've not completely gone crazy bonkers with my knitting whips. I have finished a few projects in 2022, so I have not just started, which is always a relief to me. But I think this is actually a good segue into the craft year resolution part. Yeah, I have to pick something up for that, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so crafty goals, crafty resolutions for 2021. I have a few, and I have nothing to show you really, so I was hoping she would stay in my arms, but she is, of course, being a cat, so she's saying no. So my very first crafty goal, crafty resolution for 2021 is I would like to finish more than 1 diamond painting per month. I have done that this year sometimes, but not always. I will not be able to do it always and every month next year, but I would like to try and, you know, instead of doing 12, so I think I never officially announced it, but my goal last year or this year was to do at least 12 diamond paintings. I have, of course, done more. I have not counted them, but I have done more. And I think I would like to land somewhere between 18 and 20 next year. You know me, most of the diamond paintings I do are rather big, so we will see how much I can actually do. Then the other goal, which I have been pretty good with this year, and I would like to keep that up next year, is to keep up and finish my year-long stitch-alongs that I have going. So for this year we have 2 that are already running, which is the Dark Queen of the Seas by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and then there is the Animal Crossing by Cunning Cross Stitch. Cunning Cross Stitch is officially not yet started, but he put out the frame, so it has started in my mind. I would like to keep up with them on a monthly basis, and I would like to finish them when they run out in August and December respectively. And then I have signed up for 2 new ones. Well, I've signed up for one, and I plan to do another one The one I've signed up for, I purchased the pattern from Cloud's Factory. For there is no Planet B stitch along. And I am also going to attempt once again to do the free Peppermint Purple stitch along. Peppermint Purple is a blackwork company, so to say. She designs blackwork, and I really liked the pattern she put out for 2020, but I think I chose the wrong fabric. I decided for whatever reason to do it on 18 count Ader, and I didn't like it. I stitched the whole outer frame and the boxes and stuff like that, and I did stitch the first weekly box, but I had to frog it again because my floss color wasn't working out. I didn't want to buy 1,000,001 flosses, and I had nearly none of the flosses she called for at the start of the year, so I wanted to do it in variegated thread works I had, but it didn't really pop on the fabric, so I had to pull that out, and then I never restarted it because I didn't actually like how it looked on 18 count. So I'm going to do it again this year, and I'm going to do it on even weave. So this might be risky, but I thought I don't like doing cross stitch on even weave, but maybe because I do not like to stitch on Ader in general anymore, and I decided maybe I can do black work on even weave without it annoying the bejesus out of me, because it's only one thread and I can use a smaller needle too if I want to. So we are going to see how this works out. I'm going to pick actually a pretty big count because I have this piece of what is it called, vintage sand, I believe. It's a Zweigart, and it's a 25 count. I picked it up for something, I can't remember for what, but whatever I picked it out for, it was cross stitch, so it's never going to happen. But I'm going to try and use this piece for this black work, because it's a very light beige with a little bit of modeling, like their vintage fabrics always look like, and I thought it would be good with all the colors that go with the the called for colors for this stitch along. So these are my stitch alongs I have currently planned. 4 of them, one is going to end in August, the other 3 are going to end in December. Again, the goal is to keep up and finish them on time. Then I've put my yoga corns up as something I want to finish by the end of the year. This should be possible because usually it shouldn't take me more than 3 to 4 days to stitch a yoga corn. I just have to kick myself in the butt to actually start. So I'm going to put that on the docket as a finish by the end of 2021. And my last stitchy goal, New Year's resolution, is I want to restart my Lugana projects. So I have shown you the Renato Parolin squirrels. I'm going to restart them on a linen, and then I am going to restart the, I think it was called Snowy Forest, the cottage country. Was it cottage country needlework? Country cottage needlework. The one I started during Stitch Mania. I'm going to restart this one at some point this year as well. Not much of a surprise. I'm actually kind of surprised I have not restarted yet, but maybe during May. Let's see. It would be the 1 year anniversary. So that's all my crafty goals for stitching. And last will be knitting. Goal number 1 is to finish my 2 shawl whips I have shown you, the Sharon Show and the Hard Lace Shawl. I want to finish them in 2021. I of course want to work on the blanket as well, but that's not going to be a finish, absolutely not realistic. So not on the finishing list. And then I have decided I want to try my hand on a Stephen West pattern this year. I think I'm going to try and do this extravaganza because I really, really like how that looks, and it frightens me so much. But he actually has super great videos on his channel, so I am going to try this at some point. I really want to make myself finish the Sharon shawl first. So let's see how this goes. So this is what I have for my existing crafts. And then I want to get back into card making. I don't want to get back at the level I was before I picked up diamond painting, because I pretty much made a card every other day or so. And that's not where I want to go, because that would be very time consuming, and I actually do not have a lot of use for those cards. But I have not picked up my card making supplies at all this year. I don't think I've made a single card. I'm not entirely sure. I might have made one, but I don't think I have. And that's actually sad. You have never seen my craft room, but it's filled to the brim with stamping stuff, because I stamped for 10 years. Stamping and card making before I picked up diamond painting, and this is really ridiculous that I'm not using this stuff. So goal for 2021 is to pick this up again. And then last but not least, because I would like to try my hand at something new every year, I decided that this year I'm going to try and learn how to draw. I have gifted myself a 1-year membership, premium membership of Skillshare. They had a great, I think it was 30% off right before Christmas. So that's when I purchased this membership, and I asked for this for Christmas. So this is a, like it's called a creative pen tablet. So basically it's a digital drawing tablet. And I would like to try and learn how to draw. Comic style, probably. So let's see how that goes. This is going to be an adventure, because I think I have some decent coloring skills, but I don't think that I have really good drawing skills. But I thought, well, let's just try. And if not, I can at least, what did I tell the boyfriend? If the drawing doesn't work out, because this was not super expensive, I can at least put mustaches on photos. I think that's not too bad to have, and it was like 60 euros, the software included, so probably not the worst. I have only gotten this today, so I have not tried yet if it actually works with my Mac, but it's supposed to. Alright, this I think is on the longer side of things. If I added it up correctly, we are past the 40-minute point. But this is all I have for you, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you would like to let me know what your crafty goals and resolutions for the next year are, please drop them in the comments down below. I am always super curious to see what you are up to. Okay. That's it from us. We are going to say goodbye to you. We hope you have a wonderful new year. And yeah, we should be back tomorrow with the new diamond painting theme of the month. Bye, guys.